hope the day finds you all well. Just hanging out in the dungeon, going to be doing some stuff. Thought I'd extrapolate on something that's been marinating in my mind for several days since I had some interaction with the almighty Om over on the IG on one of my speed yoga Instagram posts. Kind of triggered this thought process about, you know, I'm always talking about being in a state of flux and instilling change and embracing the different things in your life, and you know, these experiences, both negative and positive, brought forth by embracing change and facing your fears and doing things that take you out of your comfort zone. These are the things that help us stimulate growth, my opinion, obviously. So I'm going to probably be back by the end of this duty. The almighty Om, or Om Vapor on IG, brother had said something pertaining to yoga, and again, this is what started this thought process in my mind, and it was applicable to me to different degrees, because it was dealing with yoga, and my thought process of what it was dealing with yoga, and then it was also, you know, easily applied to when I was involved in fitness, or even as someone that goes to the gym on a regular basis. You see this, and it's kind of in life and just going through the motions of things. So, you know, when I was a gym rat, I'd see those people that would go to the gym and they were there and they were doing the same thing, whether it was, you know, every Friday it was arms day, or, you know, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday they did the same exercises. So they're there and they're doing, and they're physically moving, but the way body mechanics and human physiology works is it's quite easy to become stagnant physically as well as mentally. You plateau physically. So you're going to the gym, and in your brain you think everything's all right, and you're healthy and you're fit and all that, but you've plateaued and you're stagnating, so you've got to change it up, muscle confusion principle, etc. So in our lives we have to introduce this confusion principle as well. I believe that sort of helps manifest us, bringing us to our truer selves. So some people go to the gym and they just go through the motions. They're just doing it. They're not really making that mind-muscle connection, and that's something they talk about when you're into, you know, weightlifting or bodybuilding or doing anything. You know, rock climbers, basketball players, professional athletes, Olympians, people with a great deal of success and stuff like that. They spend a large amount of time doing actual visualization techniques of what they're going to do. Now, this is also applicable to you and I in doing the most mundane things. It's, you know, when you take the time, and it's almost like it's a meditative practice, and I'll touch on that in a bit, where you spend the time where you quiet your mind, and the external stimuli of your life and your day are put away for a while, so that you can be at a spot where, you know, maybe you're, I'll use the example of a parkour athlete, maybe you're looking at yourself going through a series of obstacles on a parkour course, and your usual training is going down to you know, the park and playing on this, and this. Maybe you spend 10 minutes in the evening visualizing that before the next morning you get up and actually do it. That kind of dealio. So doing something and making that connection are two different things. So an example of people that go to the gym, they just sort of go through the motion, or they're there and they're talking to all their buddies, and it's a social thing, and then it's like, oh, I gotta go do my set. That kind of crap. With Om, he was like, the movement of yoga is second to the mental aspect, and I could not agree with that more. He goes, I would love to see a greater emphasis on that. Not you. It is common for that aspect to be ignored in favor of the fancy poses. The poses are designed to facilitate the mental hygiene aspects of the yoga practice. And my response accordingly was, blessings, brother. True, the pose is not what yoga is about, as it is the end of the journey. Connecting with one's breast and establishing a mind-body connection speaks volumes to me, as does the somewhat meditative state of flow we, meaning me and Mr. Chilibu, enjoy while practicing. May the gift of the day treat you folks very kindly. Much peace, love, and blessings, and appreciation. And he responded, I love what you're doing. Mindfulness and purpose has the potential to heal so much ill. So, wonderful shared sentiment by my brother. But, yeah, so that in itself had my brain going. You can do something or you can practice something. And I was applying it to us. You know, it's over a year now, 13 months of practicing yoga. And in that time, we've used the breathing, the pranayama aspect of it as basically the foundation, because every single video is about connecting with your breath. It's like, okay, you try to get into the pose, and if you don't get into the pose, you do the pose to the best of your ability, right? Pretty fucking simple. But no matter where you are and what the pose is supposed to look like, making the connection of breathing in and out, because when you're doing yoga, you breathe and move. You know, your sit up tall is a breath in. A slight stretch to the side is a exhale. And when you're here, a little more of a breathe in, and then a little more of a. So we move with our breath, right? So I know, and I'm so appreciative of many of you that have contacted me to let me know that you've joined us on this yoga journey. And I know a lot of you are very mindful, because that is a very important aspect, is being mindful. And you're progressing. But it made me think of that doing yoga or practicing yoga. And if you're just going through the motions and doing your vinyasa for whatever, 20, 30, 40, 50 an hour, but you're not making that connection of breathing into the poses properly, of being mindful, really being in the moment while you're in the middle of whatever it is in that vinyasa. And if you're not making that meditative connection, to me, you're just doing it. Nothing wrong with it, because you're being physically active. But as pointed out by Al Om, Om Vapor, the Almighty Om. The pose is secondary to the mental aspect of the practice, because the mental aspect is what makes it practice. Doing the asanas, different poses and trends, you know, going from downward dog to chaturanga to upward dog, right? If you just do that, that's what you're doing. You're doing yoga. If you're someone that has a gym membership and you go to the gym, and every time you go to the gym, you're kind of doing, I'm going to start with my 5 minutes of stretching, and then I'm going to go do cardio for 15 on the stepper, then I'm going to do back and bis, I'm going to do 3 sets of this and 2 sets of, and it's always the fucking same. Kudos for being at the gym, but come on, think, step outside of the box, stop just doing it. Become mindful of it. Become into the moment of whatever you're doing. It could be something as mundane as washing the dishes. Getting yourself into a meditative head state when you're washing the dishes is kind of weird, because to do that, all you do is you think about washing the dishes. I'm washing a plate. I'm making sure the plate is nice and clean. I'm cleaning this side, I'm doing the edges, I'm turning it over, I'm doing the other side, I'm rinsing it off, I'm putting it in the dish rack. I'm grabbing the next dish, this one's a bowl, I'm washing the bowl. Like seriously, if you're fucking standing there for 10 or 15 minutes, literally in your head doing what I just sort of demonstrated, you're in a meditative state, you're in a flow state, and you're being one with washing dishes. Now you have to adopt this to literally the most significant things you do and the most significant people in your life, being mindful to them. Like I said, you can be a human being or a human doing, and in the context of doing, in that correlation, we're talking about doing different things. And I've got a list that I'm going to drop at the end of this video. Might be a little bit boring. You can stick around, it's about 12 minutes, but hey, I'm not going to take up any more of your time because this was about me extrapolating on what was going on in my mind, having an epiphany, and the realization of my own self, the difference between doing and practicing yoga, because I said 13 months later, and I had this conversation this morning with my much better half, I understand the difference because there have been days in the past where I was just doing yoga, but the emphasis literally from the get-go, and I tried to extrapolate that in sharing my cannabis-infused videos and educating you guys. And again, I'm so thankful for those of you that have got into yoga because of me. Holy shit, thanks. Like seriously, I humbly say, namaste. But there's been those days when I do yoga, nah. The emphasis is on practicing yoga, taking time to do yoga practices that are not about moving around and doing this and doing that, and one-legged chicken dogs and pigeons and lizards and all that crap. No, man, I'm talking about having yoga practices where we did the shining skull breath. That was a small thing. You take 20 minutes once a week to do that. That is practicing yoga. That is making that mind-muscle connection, body, mind, and spirit's happening. Rant over. Whatever you are engaged in, be mindful of it. Don't just do it for the sake of doing it. Anyways, until next time, peace, love, and blessings from the farm. All right.
Naturally, you wouldn't understand what a gentleman's word is his bond. In any event, you have no choice. Hold your tongue, cock your gun. Let everyone have some, so they share what they bear. They all know what you've done, what you've done, what you've done to break the sun. Your eyes, see inside your lives, see where your vision lies. Your brother as your guide will when earth is set on fire with all the world's desire, the fear dreams to aspire, the righteous will inspire. Where's the sun?